Closed captioning for the Casey Malone Show is sponsored by Hunter Stevens Land Title Agency. Integrity, service, and commitment you can trust.
Oh yeah, Casey Malone is serving up local. It's time for the stories of our region, the tastes, the sights, the sounds, and the people in and around the valley. Get ready for some local flavor on the Casey Malone Show.
Today we prepare for the high holiday. It is a tradition. My favorite Irishman sings the damsel. I also prepare an Irish fish fry with homemade tartar sauce. But first, the Burke School of Irish Dance. Now, these are the more senior dancers here at the Burke School. And BB, what age did you start dancing?
I started dancing at 5 and competed at 7.
And how old are you right now?
23.
And you are still able to go and compete in national, worlds, Oireachtas, anything, because you never stopped dancing.
Yeah, I never stopped, so I can keep going.
And why did you never take a break, like during college or any of that stuff?
I really liked doing it. I had a lot of friends that still were younger than me, so I really wanted to keep going. That's the reason I stayed in Pittsburgh, was to stay at my school. And I also want to keep dancing until I become a teacher.
Wow. And is there a requirement to be a teacher? Like, do you have to log in so many hours? How does that work?
You have to take grade exams. So there's 12 grade exams that you have to take over a period of many years because there has to be time in between. And then you have the final TCRG exam that takes place over a couple days that you have to apply for.
Really? That's pretty serious. So when do you start?
I finished all 12 grade exams, and so I have to apply for the TCRG exam.
And Cameron, you are still dancing, and you're in college too.
Yeah, I'm a freshman in Duquesne.
And how long have you been, with the school?
I started dancing when I was 5, and I've been doing it ever since.
Do you think you'll go on to compete like BB and just keep dancing? And do you think you'll ever stop?
I don't know, we'll see.
You know, you could be like, who? Michael Flatley? Who knows? Lord of the Dance.
I don't think I'm that good.
You never know. And then are you guys all going to go to World?
Yeah, all 3 of us are going to go to the World Championships in Glasgow, Scotland.
Wow. And what is that like? I know Jocelyn's an old pro at this. And, how have you been doing?
I'm pretty good.
Do you think the States put out a better dancer, or do you think some of these countries? Come on, be honest.
I think we're pretty even.
What do you think?
I think it's up in the air. It depends on how much you practice, how much time you put into it.
Do you see different styles? Does anybody have like any better tricks than,
I think you can tell like a UK or Ireland dancer from an American dancer.
And what's that difference?
The style's different, and like the way that they formulate their choreography is just slightly different, and you could tell the differences between like when you're watching.
Elise and Nora have qualified for nationals. And, you guys talk about taking third, doing this. What exactly goes into qualifying to go to nationals?
Many hours of practice and dedication and passion for the sport.
Who decides that you are worthy of nationals? Who decides that?
Well, we compete with usually a group of about 100 girls, and then you have to place top half. And then from that top half, the judges decide like if you're good enough to qualify, and then you place however, and they take about like 20 some girls to nationals.
And Molly here, now here's something really, she totally enjoys the sport, don't you? You enjoy it, and you're doing it recreationally, because did you get tired of the competition?
I don't think I necessarily got tired of it. It just takes a lot of time, and these girls next to me put in all the time it takes to compete, and I just didn't really have the time to allocate to competition, so I decided I was just going to dance recreationally because I love my friends and I love dancing, so I still dance recreationally, just not competitively.
And everybody thinks, March is the only time you guys come out because it's St. Patrick's Day. But really, you guys are doing this all year long. I mean, I think that is... I wouldn't mind seeing you guys in July somewhere, or, maybe in November. But you're on board for all that stuff, right? You dance whenever they do the public appearances.
Yeah, so the public appearances occur during the summer sometimes, and then halfway to St. Patrick's Day celebrations, and then really a lot in March. So I'm around year-round, just not competitively.
So you're really busy. And how many times have you guys qualified for nationals?
This will be my 3rd time qualifying.
I think it's my second or third.
You guys should really be proud of yourselves. I mean, really, this is pretty cool. Well, hey, good luck. You're going to Austin, huh?
Thank you.
I'm home with cowboy hat. All right. We have got Oliver and Nuala. And how long have you been dancing, Oliver?
I've been dancing for 9 years now.
And do you like to compete?
Oh yeah, I like to compete more than I practice.
Really? Do you practice a lot?
Yeah, I practice a lot.
Do you? That's why you're so good, huh? Have you won, those vases and bowls and trophies and stuff?
Yeah, so I won a glass bowl at Visoroctus.
Yes. And how about you? How'd you do at the Oireachtas?
I placed 11th in my group of boys, and I qualified for nationals.
Did you? Are you going to go down?
Yep.
Wow. You going to nationals too? Oh, wow, you guys, that's very cool. What's your favorite dance?
It's between reel and slip jig.
I like the slip jig. That's my favorite. Hornpipe's my favorite with the hard. How about you?
I like the hard shoes better, because it gives me like a different, there's hard shoe steps and then there's soft shoe steps. And hard shoe, you make a ton more noise.
I just love the power, the sound of it, don't you?
Yeah. So, soft shoe is very quiet.
Right, and you seem kind of quiet. So you like that, don't you? You're like kind of nice, soft demeanor to you. Nice and calm. Well, good luck, you two, at nationals.
Thank you.
Bridget is one of the dance instructors, and then Allison is a board member and chairman of the board.
Oh, no, I'm just the secretary.
What exactly are you doing to keep all the, because there's a lot of moving parts, and I imagine, and there's a great expense when these girls travel and stuff, and boys. How does that all work?
Well, we do a lot of fundraising. We try to do fundraising for the school, as well as we do fundraising for the individual students who are going to be competing at Oireachtas, going to Worlds, going to Nationals. So, we're definitely a big family here, and we all, just try to pitch in, help each other out. The parents are amazing. The board is great. Everyone just really works together to try to support the kids as much as possible.
I mean, it's really a commitment. It's not just the child that's involved. I mean, because the travel and the expense of the costumes. Are they called costumes? Is that what you call them, or would you call them a uniform?
I would just call it a dress.
A dress.
Yeah.
All right, the dresses.
What you see out around town and what you'll see here today are our dance out outfits. That's so everybody can match and they can do their arm movements for the choreographies that we like to show everybody around town. But for their solo competitions, they wear a dress.
Right, and they wear and then they get a lot more ornate. Yes. Now, I understand that you are going to start up adult dance lessons again.
Yes. So it is also part of our goal to make sure that everybody in the Valley has the opportunity to do Irish dance. And I know some adults might have missed that opportunity when they were younger. So we started adult classes about a year ago, and we're starting up our new sign up for the year after St. Patrick's Day. So if you see any of our kids dancing and you're like, oh, that's really cool, I want to do that, I want my kids to do that, but they're a little older, or maybe somebody's getting married and you want to continue on the Irish tradition with our Kayleys at your weddings, you can come on down, learn how to do traditional Irish dancing, and we'll have that twice a month. It'll be about 45 minutes for the actual Kaylee dancing. If you don't know how to jump, you don't want to feel like you're not going to be able to keep up, it's totally okay. Anybody from 18 to anything can come down and learn the Kaylee dancing.
As old as me, I can dance. I'm coming. I'm doing that. I am. Just go to the website. Would that be the information, or Facebook?
The website or Facebook, and then you can go ahead and call for the Burke School. Give us your contact information. We'll let you know exactly what day and then what time we'll be starting the classes.
That is awesome. Well, the high holiday is upon us, and I know you guys are so busy, but then, I think people need to remember this is a year-round thing. You guys are working 12 months a year, and, people just cram it into March, but it really should be something that is celebrated all year.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm saying. So get in touch with these girls all year long, because you have such a great presentation.
Thank you.
This is the Casey Malone Show. Sweet Memories Vintage Teas and Candy in Liberty, a store like no other. Step through our doors and travel back in time. Remember the nostalgic candy, vintage sodas, and retro toys you thought were gone forever? You'll find all your classic favorites and so much more. Because memories are best when shared, we give back to local charities. Sweet Memories Vintage Teas and Candy, bringing you joy one memory at a time.
This is GABA Camp, barrier-free camping and nature for our friends with disabilities. Thank you for your generous donations. We now have our first phase, but more work needs to be done. A lodge will provide a meeting place and food service for our adults with disabilities and their families. GABA Camp is a 501c3 organization. We need your help to grow. Donate to GABA Camp. Giving is living.
Consumer Reports conducts over 50 tests to determine the best vehicles, and only one brand was named the 2024 Best Mainstream Automotive Brand, Subaru, with 8 vehicles that are recommended models: Outback, Ascent, Legacy, Impreza, WRX, BRZ, and 2024 top picks Crosstrek and Forester. Safe, reliable, trusted, loved. Subaru.
The Subaru A Lot to Love event is going on now, only at Boardman Subaru.
Weight loss goals aren't one size fits all. At Hurricane Health and Wellness, we understand the struggle. We've been there too. That's why we offer the most popular, effective weight loss medications at an affordable price. Look and feel your best today with Hurricane Health and Wellness.
Shop CMAX Northside Appliance in Struthers, the local appliance store that beats big box prices every day.
3 generations serving Youngstown, Ohio, soon to be our 4th.
You better come on in my kitchen.
I always try to prepare an Irish dish for the St. Patrick's show. And today I am going to do an Irish beer batter fish fry. And St. Patrick's Day always falls during Lent. You know, I'm not taking away from the churches and the restaurants that always have their Fish Friday specials, but this one's pretty good. Very few ingredients, and the batter is just so light. And we're also going to prepare a homemade tartar sauce. I do not like the prepackaged tartar sauce. I think it's kind of yucky and it's always really sweet and cloying, but this one's really nice. And the big difference is the majority of it is Greek yogurt. And it's nice and savory, and I think you're really going to like it. Let's go over the ingredients, and we're going to have a Irish fish fry. For this recipe, you'll need 1/2 cup of Greek yogurt, plain, 3 tablespoons of mayonnaise, 1 tablespoon of capers, 1 dill pickle, 1 garlic clove, 1 sprig of fresh dill, and 1 teaspoon of fresh lemon juice. Well, we're gonna start with the tartar sauce, so I could let that chill while we're getting the fish ready. And I'm gonna use my mini chopper, and you can use a blender if you don't have one. But what I'm gonna do is add the pickle, which I chopped up already, and the capers, and the garlic, I cut that up, and the dill. Oh, this dill is amazing. So put that in, and what we're gonna do is blend this together and really chop it fine. And when it goes into that, it really is smooth, and the flavors you could really taste. So what I'm gonna do is just pulse this until it's evenly blended. Oh, that looks pretty good. Let me scrape it down one more time. All right, there we go. So, see, it almost looks like a pesto before you add the oil. And all I'm gonna do is add it to this, which already has the mayo and yogurt in it. And it should keep about a week, 10 days in your fridge. But you're really gonna like it. So it might not be around that long. And all I'm gonna do is whisk this together. And it's got such a pretty color. And you mix it up really well. That's beautiful. Look at that. It almost looks like tzatziki. And then, for the final, the fresh lemon juice. This really brightens it. Add that at the very end and mix it a little bit further. Alrighty. But of course, let's taste it and see if it needs anything. Wow. It really doesn't need anything. If you want a few grinds of black pepper, it doesn't need any salt at all, but this is really good. All it needs is 20 minutes or so in the fridge, and I'm gonna cool this off, and then we'll start frying some fish. For this recipe, you'll need canola oil, 3/4 cup all-purpose flour, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of kosher salt, 3/4 cup cold beer, 4 fillets, 5 or 6 ounces of cod, haddock, or another firm white fish. So I've got a fairly large skillet, and my canola oil is heating up over at the stove. So this is a quick dip, and then we get it in the hot oil. So this is the flour, and then I'm gonna add the salt and the baking powder. And the baking powder is what makes the magic, because it really puffs up and it really lightens this up. And you want cold beer, not warm beer. This is a nice Irish lager. And you put that in, and look at this. Isn't this crazy? Just watch. It just goes all together. It's kind of foamy at first, but once all the flour gets down in there, it's fine. And that's it. It's okay if there's a couple lumps, but it really, look at that. It's like a real thin pancake batter. And you know, beer is the secret to my pancake batter. I add a little bit to that, and it really lightens it up. So all we're gonna do is start dipping, and then we'll plate this up and we'll take it over to the stove. And we'll just let these start soaking around in there. I cannot stress how important these thermometers are, because you really want to have things at the right temperature. If you're frying something, you really want the oil to be at 350 degrees or higher. Remember, once you add the food, it goes back down. And then you want to make sure your meats are correct, your chicken and poultry are cooked. So these really are handy and necessary. And I bet you didn't know, the internal on the fried fish should be 145 degrees. So I get to check that too. I don't want anybody to get sick or not have a good experience when they're eating my food. So I'm gonna start dropping these in, and I'm gonna give them some space. Ooh, doesn't that sound good? All right, so I'm gonna add like 2 at a time. And then we will flip them once they get nice and golden. But you're gonna see how pretty the batter is. In about 2 minutes. And now I'm gonna flip it. Oh, isn't that beautiful? I mean, it's really light and so pretty. Well, our first batch is done. Ooh, look at what a beautiful piece of fish. So here you go. I'll add another piece. Gino's gotta eat. And then all you do is just take some salt and just lightly salt it. And get ready. We're gonna be eating very soon. Well, I knew Jelaine would join me when I told her it was fish fry.
I just happen to be in the neighborhood.
Right. And she loves my vinegar mustard coleslaw. And that recipe is online. So I made you a nice big batch of that. Now, usually what I put on my fried fish is malt vinegar. But today I am going to use my homemade tartar. Would you care for some, Jelaine?
I will.
All right, we'll put some right here on the plate for you.
Because I am not a big tartar fan, but I tasted this when you were mixing.
I know, isn't it delish?
So good.
So you saw how easy it is, and I mean, you could do this at home. And fish, you know, of course, fresh caught is really not happening. Everything, you just want it flash frozen. And it thaws really easily. And let's see how we did here. Okay, I just think this is gonna be delicious. Perfect.
Perfect.
It's so light, and it's really easy, and it really doesn't mess up the kitchen or anything. You know, frying's not great, but this is the best way to enjoy
The
fish.
sauce is so good. My favorite.
All these recipes are going to be on my website, CaseyMaloneShow.com. The perfect accompaniment, a nice Irish lager.
Nostrovia.
Cheers, sláinte.
Sláinte.
Perfect every time. Try it. Cheers.
Happy St. Patrick's Day from the Casey Malone Show.
At Kamara, we want to help you find a ring that's as unique as your love. We'll guide you through the entire process, from deciding between natural and lab-grown diamonds, discovering the perfect stone, to finding the setting that fits your style. And with our in-store repair services, we'll make sure your ring looks stunning for years to come. Whether you're looking for timeless elegance or a modern twist, we'll work with you and your price range to find the perfect ring.
Real, get Kamara.
I'm Elizabeth Bernard. For more than 30 years, I've provided our Valley with sound legal advice. My associate Jennifer Rigetti and I will be your legal representatives if you're involved in a car, truck, or motorcycle accident. Don't try to handle it yourself. We'll navigate the red tape of dealing with doctors, medical insurance, and all the obstacles that you'll face. Remember, there are no upfront fees on personal injury cases, and hiring a lawyer does not mean you have to go to court.
Call attorney Elizabeth Bernard, local legal experience for more than 30 years.
Locally sourced is good, whether it's ingredients or a bank, and that's why my bank is Farmers National Bank. Since 1887, Farmers has remained rock solid through every economic condition. Having a bank with a history of safety, soundness, and conservative management is a must. It all boils down to this. You need a bank that will help you reach your goals. I do too, and Farmers is mine. Farmers National Bank, rock solid.
The 47th Annual Mahoning Valley St. Patrick's Day Parade is Sunday, March 16th. Enter your group, organization, or marching band at mvstpatrickparade.com.
Don't miss Angels for Animals Gigantic Garage Sale, April 11th through the 13th at the fairgrounds.
Every year I close out my St. Patrick's Day show with my favorite Irishman, my dad, V.E.G. And this is such a special memory, and all the viewers just love it. I get so many great comments each and every year. So here he is himself singing The Damsel, only 19 years old, at my wedding. I miss you, Daddy. Cheers. Sláinte.
This is a song that my dad used to sing at Irish weddings a long time ago. And the name of the song is The Damsel, only 19 years old. As I went a-walking one night by the strand, I met a fair damsel, she was dressed up so grand. She had feathers and finery, she had jewels and gold. She said she was a damsel, only 19 years old. Her fingers were tapered, her neck like the swan, her nose a little turned up, her voice not too strong. In 3 weeks we were married, and our wedding bells told that I married a damsel only 19 years old. When the wedding party broke up, we retired to rest. I nearly dropped dead when this girl, she undressed. For a carload of padding from her chest did unfold. Says I, you're a dandy, only 19 years old. When I awoke in the morning, I thought I would faint. She scraped off her thin cheeks a full pound of paint, and on her left shoulder a little hump did behold. Says I, you're a cuckoo, only 19 years old. She took off her wax fingers till she left only 3. She unscrewed her left leg up as far as the knee. When she took out her glass eye, on the carpet it rolled. Oh, good God Almighty, only 19 years old. She took out her eyebrows, they were black and sublime. She took out her false teeth, she had just 29. When she took off her blonde hair, her bald pate told that I married a damsel, only 19 years old. So now take my advice when for marriage you go. Examine your girl from her head to her toe. For if you do not, you will like me be sold to a damn Nova Scotian who is 90 years old.
The pipes are calling.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be opening up for Glen
and down the mountainside. The summer's gone and all the roads.
The Casey Malone Show is sponsored in part by Denise and John York and the DeBartolo Corporation.